Parshas Truma is all about donating to the first collection in Jewish history, communal collection for a Mossad. And we know, coming up next week, a very, very special mitzvah. We'll learn a little bit about tonight. If we don't finish tonight, we'll continue Be'ez Hashem next week. The mitzvah of Matanos Levyonim on Purim.
Shh. Guys, if you want to be in the Shia, don't talk. If you want to talk, you have to leave.
So it says that Mordechai and Esther, they set up the Yimei Purim, Yimei Mishta v'Simcha u'Mishloach Manos u'Matanos Levyonim. So I'm going to read out a few words from the Aruch HaShulchan, and then we're going to quote a very famous Rambam, and then I'm going to visualize it to you, bring it home to you, how real these words are. So says the Aruch HaShulchan, Mitzvah say to Megillah Esther, there's a mitzvah say in the Megillah, Litzim Matanos Levyonim. As we know, it says, Mishloach Manos Ish L'Re'eh Matanos Levyonim. Now, since it says Evyonim in the plural, so Chazal tell us, L'chei chayv l'chalek la'aniyim b'yom HaPurim, you must distribute to at least 2 aniyim on Purim day. One matana to each. Now you can give money, or ma'os, or mini tavshil, cooked foods, or mini oichlim, or any other type of food. It doesn't actually have to be money, but traditionally, I think we always associate matanos levyonim with money. And then Chazal imposed Mordechai and actually Nesedola slightly different rules to matanos levyonim as to regular stocker during the year. You don't differentiate and say, oh, that looks like a worthy cause, this one looks like a dodgy cause. And anybody who stretches out his hand, you give him. You don't have to verify whether it's a genuine cause or not. This is hinted to in the Megillah. If you look at the word Evyonim, it's spelled Chos Yud, it's missing a Yud. Should be a Yud at the end of it. Says the Reikeach, he said that's for the hint in the Torah Shemik South. But even if he's not a full Evyon, the word Evyon means somebody who's To'iv L'chol Dover. He lacks absolutely everything. He's got nothing. It doesn't have to be. Even if he's just needy in the general terms, he's lacking. That's the mitzvah Matanos Levyonim is fulfilled there. And then he brings the very famous words of the Rambam. And if you listen carefully tonight, Rabbi Shai, I think we're going to bring it out how true these words are. Says the Rambam, it's better to increase the amount of money you give out to the poor on Purim than having a big Purim Suda and giving lots of Shlach Manos.
Why?
Now, I know people who they work out to the penny how much they give out in Shlach Manos, and they make a point of giving more than that to Matanos Levyonim. I know people who do that. Yeah. Well, so if you try to innovate and you order 10, 50 quid Shlach Manos, so you should give £501 to Matanos Levyonim. Feed that. Now, says the Rambam, why? He says, She'ein shum simcha gedola, there's no greater simcha, or mufuara, or more praiseworthy act, ela lesameach lev aniyim v'yesomim v'almonos, to cheer up the heart of the poor and orphans and widows. The people who cheer up these unfortunate people, he is imitating HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes a special point of reviving the spirits of those who are lowly, and to revive the heart of those who are crushed, emotionally crushed. He then brings some of the halachas, which we'll go into a little bit later. I've got here 2 letters. One from an Oni himself, one of the 6 families I collect for Pesach. He sent me this letter, Erev Pesach Tovshin Samach Vav. So how many years ago was that, David?
104 years ago.
104 years ago, yeah. 15 years ago approximately. Okay, so ignore all the titles he gives me, by the way. I'll read it out, but this is from the heart of a poor man. Harav HaTzadik, Ish HaChesed, Rachem on the Tov Lev. He said, a man of kindness, of mercy, and a good heart. Rav Sholom Schwalbe Shlita. Alright? He's giving me a nice, yeah, but this is from the heart of a poor man. Rashis, first of all, at the beginning of this letter, and he wrote to Lahotis Lacham Mikerev Lev, I want to thank you from the depths of my heart. Ala Truma HaNichvoda B'Sach 3,150 shekel, the amount of money I sent him, Avo Kimcha de Pischa, for the needs of Pesach. She sent me through you by your brother-in-law, who's in Yerushalayim, who's known me for more than 10 years. Oh, sorry, listen to this. He said he's known me more than 10 years. Me, there's Kol HaMishpacha Sheli, all my family. There's Kol HaTzoros, all the troubles, Vayisurim Shel HaMishpacha Shelanu, and all the afflictions which my family's been through. Who Tomid, your brother-in-law, he said constantly, Ma'oided encourages, Va'oizen helps us, U'mispalel Avarenu, and davens for us. He then gives him a bracha, Hashem should bless him and his wife and all his family with all the good written in the Torah. Listen to what he writes. You should know. As if it's my money. I mean, I collected it. It's not my money. And in your merit, I and all my family will have a happy Yom Tov. Hashem will be able to celebrate as Leil HaSeder Kil Chosa, Seder night, according to all the halachas, K'moshe Kosa B'Shulchan Aruch, as written in Shulchan Aruch, B'limud HaTorah, with the Torah you'll say over the Seder, U'B'kiyam HaMitzvahs, listen to this, Lishtois Dalet Koses Yain, to drink the 4 cups of wine, V'gam B'linei the Chomesh Kezesis Matzah L'Chumra, to eat 5 kezesim of Matzah L'Chumra, U'Moro, V'Hasha, and everything else of the meal, listen to these words, B'li Da'agot, without any worries. How he's going to pay for it all. But B'Shvach V'Aydoleh, I thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'Chalzeh B'Schuscha, it's in your merit, Shazatah, you helped us, and you've shouted on this way, you've enabled us to have a happy Yom Tov. Hashem HaTorah, Yishalom Lecha, Hashem should pay you with all your family, with all the brachas, B'Oisha, happiness, B'Oisha, with wealth, still waiting, over Rachamim, over Brias, yeah, Sholom V'Shalva, and he gives lines and lines and lines of brachas. And then he says as well, I also want to thank you for the past. It wasn't the first year I sent him, but you've always helped us and my family. And Baruch Hashem, he said, my family, he said, a family of unassuming people, Tznuim, Tamid Chachomim, he said, learned in Torah, he said, V'anachnu nispal aleichem, we're down for you, Yishalom lechem k'gemulchem, because Baruch Hu should pay you back, like all you've done for us, and 1,000 times more, Amen, Amen. Oyavcha, your friend, and my kircha, respects you, Avram, so and so, and he gives me the whole thing. This is somebody, yeah, being open with his emotions, that he's now able, he and his family, this smayach b'pur, b'leil Seder. We'll have no problems, no worries about keeping the mitzvahs of Seder night. He told me a story once, he came to my house, he actually came here, collecting, and he told me, he said, he gave me a bracha, and he said, he said, Hashem listens to my brachas. He said, you know why? He said, because I'm an oni, I'm a poor man. And it says in Tehillim, Tefillah la'oni, kiyata. It says 3 times in Tehillim, the Tefillah Moshe, Tefillah David, and Tefillah la'oni. Because I'll say, the most important of those 3 is Tefillah la'oni, because it comes from a broken heart. And he said to me, I want to tell you how hard it is. He said, I was in my flat, a little flat in Yerushalayim. I heard 2 of my sons in the other room, one saying, I need a new hat for Shabbos. He said, and I heard my older son saying to him, you can't ask Daddy, he hasn't got the money, you mustn't ask him. He said, you know what emotional pain that is? A father, here's his son, one son saying he needs something, not he wanted it, he needed it. And his other son saying to him, you can't ask Daddy, he can't give it to you. It's amazing, it is incredible. Rabbi Shai, I tell you, it's incredible. Now, there's another story here. I've never had any big money to give to stocker generally. On one occasion, I had some money, and I gave quite a large amount of money. For me, it was a fortune. To Yad Eliezer. I'm very fond of the stock Yad Eliezer. If you want to research it, go online, you'll see what an amazing stocker it is. It's the largest private stocker, means non-government stock in Eretz Yisrael. Listen to this story. So I sent, I think it was £2,100 before Hanukkah. About, I don't know how many years ago. It was about 20 years ago.
Did Mr. Rowe give you a good
No, long before I knew Mr. Rowe. I knew a guy called Goldman, but he wasn't so good. Anyway, so listen to this. So I sent the money off to London, the head office in London. It was Mrs. Levinson. Her daughter's they run it in Eretz Yisrael, she's one of the things. She said, "Dear Mr. Schwalbe, encloses the receipt you asked for and also a letter which basically tells you everything. I would just like to repeat a couple of incidents from women who received some of the money from you. The first one's reaction after being told of your generosity said to my daughter," her daughter in Sholom was one of the heads of the organisation, you should know, I have not got enough emunah. This morning when I davened, I cried to Hashem, please help me. Please give me a little money to buy food for my children so that they shouldn't be hungry. She finished davening and the phone went. And Mrs. Levinson's daughter phoned her to say there's some money on its way. She said, now that this has fallen into my lap, I will strengthen my emunah. That was story one. Next one, the second one's reaction, she phoned my daughter immediately. She had just made an order at the supermarket and it had just arrived. She hadn't even unpacked it yet. Listen to this. She has never made an order before. She buys food on a daily basis when she has the money. The children were crowding round in awe. There was food in the house and she had even managed to buy something for Hanukkah. She said, tell this man from me that he has made me not just happy, but ecstatic. All these women are happy to daven for the names you've given to me. Yours sincerely, Mrs. Levinson. So we can say, Baruch Hashem, we've not experienced the desperation of a real Oni, of a real Evian. But when the Rambam says there's no greater simcha in cheering up somebody who's going through a hard time, particularly financially, we have the sorrows as well, but particularly financially, the Rambam means that he's not exaggerating at all. Not exaggerating at all. And this is a mitzvah which really, 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 we've got to give it, as the Americans will say, give it all you got, yeah? You've really, really got to put into it. Right? Wherever we can, let's be serious about it. We waste so much money. We in the West, yeah? We buy things we don't need. We live very extravagantly. We've probably got clothes, so many clothes in the cupboard which we don't even wear half of them. And, you know, we're very quick and easy to spend the luxuries and, you know, I'm not saying don't do it. But when it comes to Purim, we've got to get a perspective, right, a little bit. There are people out there who need the basics and they're struggling for the basics. And it won't do any harm if we can give up for one day some of our luxuries and some of the unnecessary things we purchase and give a little bit more to Matanas Eviyonim. Let's see how powerful this is. So in this week's Hedra, when it talks about V'yichnu Truma, yeah. So the question is, it should say V'yitnu li Truma, they should give to me a donation. It doesn't, it says V'yikhu li Truma. They should take from me. And all the Mepharshim should talk about this. What's this taking? So I saw some very, very beautiful explanations. I'd like to read out one or two with some very good stories to illustrate the point. So the Beis HaLevi, he says, reality is the only money which you actually take for yourself is what you give away to Stocker and Chesed. Anything else you spend, just it's but it goes. You eat the food, it comes and it goes. You buy a car, one of the greatest wastes of money ever invented by a man. Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you know how a car depreciates the minute you drive it out of the showroom?
50 grand.
Yeah?
50.
Yeah, oh, unbelievable. Yeah, just drive it out. My father's a kind of bracha once went to buy a car and they said, brand new car, mint car. And the guy said to him, it was a Triumph Acclaim in the 1980s. They said to him, it's second hand. He said, what do you mean? It's only got 18 miles on the clock. He said, no, it's second hand. Someone bought it, drove out, drove a few miles, didn't like it, and brought it back. He said, it's second hand. And he got it like a third off.
Wow.
With 18 miles on the clock.
Lucky guy.
Right?
Wait, 80 or 18?
18 miles on the clock. They say Lexus and BMW are the worst two. The big Lexus, they're 45% to 50% in the first year.
What?
Gone. Right? He's talking about serious bucks. People can buy these big ones, yeah? But it's gone, right? So all these things, you got all these things. It goes, it could be, I once saw on the end of King's Road, opposite George Street, a Jag smashed into a Merc. You can see, someone trying to get out quick. You know, the classic thing.
Oh.
2 cars gone, something they're both drivers. It was very funny at the time. But that was it, you know, for 100 grand just scrapped. You know, written out, the insurance don't care, they just write them off. Gone. But anyway, we've got all these things which we spend on. The only thing really, really, which is yours and you can take with you, is what we give away to worthy causes. So he says like this, he brings a Malbim, unbelievable Malbim. In Tehillim Mem Tes, David HaMelech speaks very seriously about reality of life. About, it doesn't matter how wealthy a person is, yeah, he's going to leave it all behind. And then he says an amazing pasuk. He says, "Ki lo b'moisa yikach hakol." When he dies, he's not going to take it all with him. Lo yered acharov kavodo. His honor doesn't go down into the grave with him. Says the Malbim. What does it mean? He doesn't take everything with him. Sounds like a bit he does take with him. Says the Malbim. Yeah, the bit he gave to stock of the chesed that he takes with, but the rest of the money where everyone gave him the honor for, lo yered acharov kavodo, the common part of the money stays behind. It doesn't go with the guy when he leaves.
It's like everything he gets. No, he doesn't earn anything for it. Only everything he gives does he get for.
What you give away, you get for. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really
So
unless you're doing good with that, with what you're getting. Everything you're getting is just useless.
No, you're allowed to use it. You're supposed to use it, but you're not going to take it with you. That's all.
Exactly. So it's not really. It's not useful. Obviously, you need food, as in, you can enjoy luxuries, but it's not going to help you after this.
That's right. In terms of an investment in or using your money wisely, there are better things to spend it on. Yeah.
But I don't think.
Now we'll come back, John.
Sorry, yeah.
Now, so you brought a beautiful story of the Ben Ish Chai. He said the Ben Ish Chai told the story. It couldn't be a true story. It might have been him with his son. The father asked his son. He said, "There's 10 birds on a wall, and a hunter comes and he shoots one of them." He said, "How many will be left?"
What do you, wait,
None, they'll all fly away the other way.
Wait.
10 birds.
So the boy said,
say?
"What?" So his father didn't think he understood, so he asked him again. He said, "No, there was 10 birds there. The hunter shot one of them. How many will remain?"
Oh.
He said, "One." So he said, "What do you mean one?" So he said, "Well, the other 9 will fly away from the noise, won't they? The only one which will stay is the one he shot. That's the only one that's going to stay." He said, "That's the same thing here as well. What you shoot, yeah, that's the one you get. The one which you hacked it, that's the one which will go." And the Ben Ish Chai used that as a marshal. He said, "That's the one you take with you. All the others," he said, "money's called zuzi. Why it's called zuzi? Because it's zos. It goes from place to place. It moves. But when you have it, what you've given away doesn't move anymore. That stays with you. That stays with you." Okay. Then he brings another story, a beautiful story. There's a very wealthy guy who had Rebbe a pair of candlesticks. Enormous pair of candlesticks at his Shabbos table. And he invited this poor man for a Friday night meal. And the poor man is staring and glaring, can't take his eyes off these candlesticks.
How big are they?
Gigantic candlesticks. So as he's staring at it, so the rich man says to him, "Do you know I paid a fortune for these candlesticks?" So the Oni smiled and laughed. He said, "Well, it's quite funny, you paid a fortune, but I got it for nothing." So he said, "What do you mean you got it for nothing? What do you mean?" So he said, "Well, it's mine, like yours, because you're enjoying looking at it at the table, and I'm enjoying looking at the table.
Yeah.
So I got it for nothing." Wait, so it gets better. So he said, so the rich man said to him, "But I could take it and lock it up in my safe, it's mine." So he said, "Well, if you lock it up in the safe, then you won't benefit from it, and I won't benefit from it. So we're still the same. It'll be locked up in a cupboard. So what's the difference between you and me?" He said, "Yeah, but I could sell it and get the money for it." So the Oni started laughing. "What? It's only yours now. Your only benefit is that you can sell it and get rid of it? So what's the difference between you and me? Yeah, it's yours because you could sell it and get rid of it. So what benefit is it to you?" So he said, "Well, it's here. We're both enjoying it. Only you paid for it and I didn't." Right? It's a funny thing, right? Think about it, yeah? But what you give away, now that is actually a Dvar Mitzvah, so it's not quite a good marshal. So there is something in it there. There's something special. And it should be with a hiddur, yeah? But the point is like this, right? We do the Maisa. We do spend lots of money on things which you're allowed to spend it, nothing awesome with it. But it's take a reality check and realise only when you give it away to a good cause, then it's v'yichuli, then it really becomes yours. Now, Chassid Sofer says, and the Malbim, very beautiful. The Gemara asks, there's a contradiction between two psukim. One pasuk says that the world belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kili Kol Haaretz. And another pasuk says, Hashemayim Shemayim Hashem, v'Haaretz Nosan Livnei Adam. He gave the earth to man. It's not Hashem's. So the Gemara says it's not a contradiction. Once before you make a bracha on it, it belongs to Hashem. After you make a bracha on it, then you'll have to take it. You can now take and make use of Olam Hazeh. Take it for yourself.
I like that.
Says the Chassid Sofer, the Malbim says the same thing. He says, just like making a bracha makes it yours, doing a mitzvah with it also makes it yours. So only when you've given it as a donation to the Mishkan, then v'yichuli truma. Now you're taking it for yourself. Beforehand, all the resources you've got, they're HaKadosh Baruch Hu's resources. He gave it to you, it's not yours. You gave it to a Mishkan, you gave it to a good cause. V'yichuli truma. Now you're taking it for yourself. Now you really got it as yours, and Hashem views it as if you gave him a donation for what was yours. So now, listen to this. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It says, the 6 words or 8 words in this pasuk. It says, what's v'yikhu? It doesn't say v'yitn. They should give, because v'yitn would then be a mitzvah saseh. You have to give. Hashem didn't want people to have to give. He wanted them to want to give. So it was up to you. If you want to give, you give. If you don't want to give, you don't have to give. So that's v'yikhu. Li. Normally with stocker, you're allowed to say, have in mind an ulterior motive. I should get my bar from it, or somebody should get better from it, or I should become rich. No, this time Lili should give it sincerely for the mitzvah. Teruma, a donation. You weren't allowed to give every penny you had. You could only give from your wealth. Me'es, again, signifies from whoever wants to give it. You don't have it from him. If he gives it. Kol means any man, wealthy or poor. It's not just for the wealthy to donate. Hashem wants donations from anybody who wants to. Asher yidvenu libai, who his heart genuinely wants him to give it. And then he says, Tikhu es trumasi. Then you're actually taking from that person. So this is why he says it. Then when you're giving it sincerely and genuinely, and you give it over, then Hashem views it as if it's been taken from you. Now, this Lili Shmi is very interesting, because every mitzvah is supposed to be done Lishma. Every mitzvah. When you give stock during the week, you should have in mind, I'm giving this stock out, I'm putting the tzitzis on, yeah, or in the mechavan the kind mitzvah. Every mitzvah should be done like this. So why is it stressed here? Lili Shmi. So when I was in yeshiva, my first year engaged in yeshiva in 1986, the Magashir, Razir Rosenbaum, should be well. He said he had this question and he asked the stipler. Every mitzvah's Lili Shmi should be done Lishma, for Hashem commanded us. So why is it stressed here? So the stipler said a fantastic word. He said, why does the yeshiva send the Rosh Yeshiva collecting, not the secretary? It's the same Moised, it's the same institution. So why do you send the Rosh Yeshiva and not the secretary? The answer is, the secretary you'll give £100, let's say. If a Rosh Yeshiva comes into your house, I can't give him, you give 1,000, 10,000, whatever you give. You're only giving more, not because the Moised is any different. It's by virtue of who came to your house, who came to your door. So send the stipler. Who made the appeal for the Mishkan? Moshe and Aaron. So you attempted to give because who made the appeal? So here it had to be stressed. Don't give it because Moshe and Aaron asked for the money. Give it because Hashem wants you to give the money. Here it's stressed because there's a big Eitzah Hara, or Moshe's going to see a big check in your name, yeah? On the honors board. In America, some shuls, they have a collection of the annual shul Mlav Malka, and they actually publish what everyone gave. You might see 10 grand, 5 grand, 50 at the bottom. It's a bit of a bush. But the mind, so you'd be tempted to give because Moshe and Aaron know, this Choshev guy, Johnny gave a big amount, yeah?
Yeah.
No, you do it because the Kosh Baruch said, Lili Shmi. Because the Kosh Baruch said, give it. Now, there's a Sholom which says, it's just brilliant. He says, Klais are funny people. You go collecting for an Egel, they give you for an Egel. You go collecting for a Mishkan, they give you for a Mishkan. They're funny people, yeah, literally.
Devoted to the cause.
They'll give you, if you ask them, they'll give you some money, yeah, as the crowdfunding is now finding out. It's a very
Good game.
Yeah, it's a good game. Okay, so Ram asked, but there is a difference, he says. For the Egel, what did they contribute to the Egel? What material?
Gold.
Just gold. But for the Mishkan, it's Zahav, Kesef, and the Choshev. So he said, what's the difference? He says it'll be brilliant. He quotes a medrash. There's a medrash called Oisius de Rabbi Akiva. Chazal tells Rabbi Akiva explained every letter in the Torah, and even those letters which have got a crown on it, he explained what you learn from the crown on each letter. So it says in this medrash, it says now we know Zahav is like the best, gold, silver second best, and the Choshes is third best.
What's the Choshes?
Copper. So Rabbi Akiva explained like this: Zahav stands for 3 words. Zeh Hanosein Bori. He gives tzedakah while he's healthy.
What does that mean?
He's a giver of tzedakah. He gives tzedakah. That's level 1. That's the best. That's gold. Kesef, level 2, is Kasharoya Sakona, when he sees he's got a danger, or the doctor's called him in, he's got, sees something funny on the scan or something, then Pesach, he opens his checkbook. So it's good, it's still giving, but it's not as good as the first one, yeah? When he's giving his healthy, something might be untoward, so he starts giving. Level 3, Nechoshe, stands for Nesinas Choyle. A guy's on his deathbed, he realises he better take some discussion with him, he starts giving out stocker. So it's good stocker, but it's the third level. Says Ram Sarasi, that's the difference. Nobody, when he's ill or sees a problem, will donate to the Egel. People only give to the Egel when life's going fine and dandy, Zahanos and Bori, the Yisrael will get the better of him, he'll contribute to a dodgy cause. He'll give to a dodgy cause. He said, but for the Mishkan, for a good cause, people give when they're healthy, they give when there's impending trouble, or even when they're terminally ill or they're very ill, or whatever it is, people will always turn to a good cause and always give stock and all mats of it. So although they only gave gold to the Egel, that's the reason for that, because deep down they know it can't help them when they're in danger, and it certainly can't help them when they're terminally ill. But for a good cause, for the Mishkan, people give in all things. So now, so when it comes now, okay, we know, we've got this amazing halach of anybody who asks on Purim you should give. There's a reason for this. Moshe Shterber brings, listen to this. He says, there are some people who, they go on holiday, wealthy people go away for Purim. They don't want to be badgered on Purim. Listen to what he says. Listen to these words. Chayev kolechad losses b'Purim matanos l'shnei evyonim. We know that. Give two out. Dahainu l'chol evya matana is money or oichen or food. Ve'mar b'losses l'oid evyonim. If you give to more, mekayim hamitzvah min amov. That's the best. Listen to these words. V'hanoyel basis. Somebody closes his door. Or he koifetz yodei b'Purim me'aniyim. Or he closes his hand to Purim to aniyim on Purim. Moinea atzmai mi bracha. He doesn't realise the bracha to be able to give all year is given out. Hashem gives it out on Purim. He says, "Shakadosh Baruch Hu az mevarich hanosin le'evyonim." If you give out without question on Purim, you're giving. Kadosh Baruch Hu gives you a bracha that the whole year you'll be able to give. He says, "Kadesh yitnu la'aniyim sokim kol hashana." The gift, the ability to give, is given out on Purim. So he said, that's why Chazal Dafka made it this way. Chazal knew this bracha is handed out on Purim, and therefore you give and give and give and give and give, because Baruch will give you the bracha that all year you'll continue giving. He said, people who hide and avoid giving out on Purim, they don't realize what they're doing. They're shutting the door to their own bracha, which they would have gotten. He brings it down here at the bottom. He says, this is the time we've got to make happy the poor and the needy. Kadosh Baruch Hu then gives the happiness to the givers that they can continue giving. He said, we know historically on Purim, guys were very good at this. People used to have the money, gave and gave and gave, because the key to this bracha is given out on Purim.
Is it the same mitzvah for only and anyone, any bracha that comes to account?
For emotion, yeah. That's good. You give. Now the question is, how much do you give? How much are you supposed to give? Very, very interesting debate this. So in Eretz Yisrael, he's talking about Eretz Yisrael, but he says every country should work out a similar thing. They said a boch in yeshiva is expected to give 10 shekel to 2 aniyim, that's 20 shekel. If he's married, 20 shekel, but he said he brings from Rabbi Yasser and others, they felt a minimum of 50 shekel. Now, at the time that was said, it was around £10, £12. So, at least one oni, or 2 onions, sorry, you should make sure you give a decent amount. So that you feel you've given something, because it's got to be matana. If you don't feel you've given anything, he said it's doubtful whether it's a matana. So he said at least on 2 of them, give a respectable amount, so you fulfill the mitzvah properly, and then anything extra you can give whatever you want, because it's maribah, it's just, giving extra. But he said on the basic 2, and he says a very similar thing with Mishloach Manos. On one Mishloach Manos, if you're a man of means and you're giving it to a friend who knows you're a man of means, he's got to feel he got something respectable from you. And you've got to feel you're giving something. So he said a big osher who gives an orange and a banana, A, the recipient will feel very insulted, and B, the giver doesn't feel he's given anything. So it's very, very subjective to who you are and who you're giving it to. So he said again, same idea. He said at least one, give a very respectable one, so you fulfill the mitzvah. You only have to give one shlach manos, and then whatever you do extra it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter now because it's all ribud. So again with the money, now I've got a suggestion, a very interesting suggestion. I'm going to have to let Rebbe know very interesting this, because what exactly the differences between Matanos Levionim and Stocker. I thought this morning, yesterday as well. I'm going to have to ask around see if anyone agrees with it. We know normal stocker, we say there's a preference to Ani Ircha. The poor of your hometown, or family, and then of your shchuna, your neighbourhood, then your town, then your country, then Eretz Yisrael. But then the Torah says, Ev Yoin Cha, Ba'aretz Erecha. Torah always talks about your poor. Those who are closest to you, your family, those who live near you. On Purim it doesn't say that. It says Matanos le'Ev Yoinim. So I wonder, if on Purim you can tack it, give it Eretz Yisrael, if you've got a facility to give it out, you can tack it, and there's no din of Ani Ircha or Ani Mishpachtacha on Purim. Matanos Yoinim is for the poor, wherever they are on planet Earth.
Has to be on the day.
So it has to be on the day, yeah. But it's anyway, it's Ev Yoinim. It's not Ev Yoin Cha, it's Ev Yoinim. Now, it makes a lot of sense, because if this is the day when the bracha of giving is handed out, because God's going to give it, so the idea is give everywhere. That's what then you'll get the bracha of being able to give everywhere. It's not a day restricted to the nearby. That's not the point of today. The point of today is just give and give and give and give without question. So therefore, it's immaterial. It's not bound by location. It's a day of giving. Full stop. It's a day of giving. Full stop. So although they like to stress a reciprocal election, and it's a very what do you call it? It is local. So I suppose there's a bonus that he probably knows. They know who they're giving it to. So you hope to get it locally. But I've got a feeling that it's not more of a mitzvah on Purim to give locally. And if Taki, somebody in Eretz Yisrael or somebody in London or wherever it could be, as long as it's given and received on Purim. Now he says something very interesting. It's got to be, if you're giving money, the currency in that country. He's got to be able to spend it immediately to enjoy himself on Purim. So he says in Eretz Yisrael you can't give dollars or euro or any other currency. It's got to be shkolim.
Well, if you transfer it.
Well, you can transfer it. But he said because he said if you give him dollars, he can't spend it at the moment. He's got to go and find a money changer who's open and spend it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
I'll be so sloshed.
So it's very interesting. What about the vouchers? Very good. So what's the deal with the vouchers? The vouchers they get changed after Purim. 2 weeks later, they sift through the piles and piles they get. You have envelopes and you get your check. So a Moisef might be different because a Moisef knows they're not going to get it today. But for an individual honey, certainly the first two, the Ikka Mitzvah, you should really give cash. You see, even a check's not good enough. Well, they're moving now to change the system. I think checks can clear on the same day now, I think. No?
Next day.
Is it next day?
Next
So maybe
day.
thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe you can do that. I know some people, the Sudders, they used to do it on the phone now. So you come, he says, give me your bank details, it's in your account. And that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. It's got to be, like the food, has to be edible on Purim, Mishloach Manos.
Schwalbe.
Same thing with the money, yeah.
So if you're saying that on Purim you're not meant to ask questions who to give to, who not to give to, then why do people even bother going out to go and get vouchers?
Go on.
I don't know why people then, if you're not even meant to ask questions, when you go and get a voucher, let's say you go and get a voucher of £50, you've got to pay £50 for it, why even go and get the voucher?
What do you mean?
Just give cash.
Yeah, just give cash.
Yeah. Oh, no, the reason why people get vouchers is because you get the tax back on it. So you got a bit more to give. For 50 quid, you get 60 quid to give out.
That's a Jewish idea.
No, it's to encourage people to give. That's why they do it. But no, you got a point. No, he's got a point. You got a point. So Eddie, your first two, you should give cash. Now, every member of your household has to give. Certainly over a mitzvah, has to give. So he says here, children certainly over the age of 9 should be given money to give out. Give it to them. He says how you do it though. Your father has to give you the money,
You give it back.
and then it's yours, and you give it back to him and make him a shliach. So that you can do it. That's fine. He said, but they distribute now. He said you can make a shliach before Purim to give it out on Purim. So you technically sent the money early, but the money has to be given up. And the reason is because the actual takana of Matanos Levionim was so that a poor man can buy food and enjoy himself on Purim. And we're worried if we give it earlier, he will spend it earlier. That money will not be there when Purim arrives. So that's why it's got din in both. It's got to be given on the day. Same with Mishloach Manos. and it's got to be given on the day. And don't laugh, I'll tell you now, years ago, I got one of these delivered, one of these fancy ones delivered, it came on Tiny Sesta, I'm not joking. It was delivered early. So, maybe because it was still on the table, but Purim came in, so I didn't eat it. I made a point of not eating it. But I found it really funny. I thought, they delivered it on Tiny Sesta. So,
do these places with Matana Savionim, like the big things with the bowls and stuff, and people counting, they give that the same day?
now, maybe that's the bonus of the Manchester one. The Recipient Letter this year says, anyone who left his address by 11:30 will guarantee be given on Purim Day. They do another one, I think, Kubasa'ir, also, if he gets there before Chatzos, they can guarantee you'll be given on Purim.
does one as well.
Sorry?
Every
shul does it. Every shul does it. Yeah, they do. That's a similar collection.
Is
Every Rav of every shul, yeah, they all do it.
Westmundel does Tet Yisrael. He sends Tet Yisrael the same day.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, Ravatman as well. Yeah, it's amazing. What they do is the money is actually already the readies are already ready.
They use money from before.
Yeah, the money's ready from before, and then as it comes in, so it's covered, then they dish it out. I think Silver does the same thing as well. I think it's all packaged before Purim. So anyway, so Rabbi Shai, it's the most amazing mitzvah. If you've got pocket money, or whatever, you earn a bit, or whatever. It's such a special mitzvah. And have in mind when you're giving because that's the Ratzon Hashem to give. It's the day where Klal Yisrael show their real colours of generosity and of the opposite. Haman said we're disunited, we don't care about each other. It's a day where we do the exact opposite. We really care about each other. There's unfortunately so many worthy good causes. I can't say my 6 families are better than anybody else. I can't say the needy like any other needy families. But you don't have to go far to find people who are in need of it. So put aside some money. Now, another halacha, amazing halacha. If you do put aside money, let's say, and you take it for some reason, didn't give it all out on Purim, it's interesting halacha. What do you do? So then it becomes regular. I had this once when I was in yeshiva. I can't remember what it was. So I asked the old Gates of Rav Barakov, and he told me you can give it to any after Purim. You give it to any stockers. I did in Morris Purim should be given on Purim. He said, but if it's left over, you can give it to any stocker. And don't forget, straight after Purim, you got Kibbutz at the Pischa. So this time of the year, the traffic jams of places where to give it. But, so it's v'yichel. We should know we're not giving, we're taking. We're the real beneficiaries. But it's a week coming up now where we look after each other and we care for each other and we turn up for Shacharis on time. Same idea, right? And it's a chizuk, it's a time of Klal Yisrael where we makabel the Torah me'ava. We put our emotion back into doing mitzvahs. Till then it was under coercion from Har Sinai for 500 years, 480 years, 520 years. It was coercion. At the Purim story, Klal Yisrael turned that around. And for the first time in history, we started keeping the Torah because we actually wanted to keep the Torah properly. So this is it. Purim is the day where we show that, and Be'ez Hashem, we should all fulfill the mitzvahs of the day properly, and have a great Purim. Yeah. Well, most everyone should make out of Micha or Brother Foshers on supper.
Go, brother.